Akshat, shall we start?
Yes, sir. Yeah, sure.
Hello.
Oh, yes, of course. All right.
Principal, sir. Hello.
Yes, sir. You're audible clearly.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the students are joining. I think there are 66 now.
Yes.
So shall we start or we'll wait for 2 minutes?
Perhaps we can wait another 1-2 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Akshat, I think we can start now.
Sure. Yeah. The number is stabilizing a bit. So, yeah, let's begin. So, Yash, perhaps he can just take the lead and help coordinate between speakers. Or, sir, up to you if you would like to take the lead. Okay, let us begin then in that case. So, very warm welcome to all the students that have attended today, are still pouring in. And my name is Akshat Kadam. I'm representing Develearn Technologies. We're an education company, and we are now working closely with your college, Patkar-Varde College. And we're really happy to get the opportunity to interact with you and organize this orientation webinar about this very exciting course that we are launching. And I'll be speaking to you, sharing everything about this course and talking about what we'll be going through in depth for this session, today's session. So before we get to my piece of the talk, I think I'd like to hand over to respected principal sir, for who can you can just give a few opening statements and just a few words about what the college initiatives and what Patkar has in mind for this course. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Akshat, a representative of Develearn Technology and Education Company. Good afternoon to you all, and this gives me immense pleasure to welcome you on the occasion of this orientation on illustration and graphic design, the course which we are going to start in association with Develearn Technology. RUSA under East Cell and Skill Hub, we are to start this program. And today's program is just nothing but orientation to graphic design, illustration and graphic design. Our college, our Sir Sitaram and Lady Shantabai Patkar College of Arts and Science and Patkar-Varde College of Commerce and Economics. Our college was founded by Chikesar Samoha, an association of like-minded individuals who were keenly interested in education. The college was named after Sir Sitaram Patkar, a distinguished judge of Bombay High Court, who was knighted after his retirement and his wife, Lady Shantabai Patkar. Sir Sitaram was deeply interested in furthering the cause of women's education and was the Vice Chancellor of SLTT University for many years. The College of Arts and Science started functioning from the academic year 1964-65 and the Commerce section from the academic year 1980-81. To provide career-based education, the college started degree-level self-finance courses from the year 2001-2002. Since then, the college has constantly upgraded the courses offered and infrastructure required for these courses to provide students with best possible learning opportunities. In order to acquire more advanced and better skills and knowledge, the college under autonomy has introduced many job-oriented UG/PG diploma programs. In keeping up the spirit of learning and growing through criticism, we have set up high standards, working continuously towards advanced goals. Many of our alumni hold very good positions in various fields. Patkar-Varde College is a place of pride among us, the various education institutions in the western suburbs of Mumbai. Our college is re-accredited by NAC in its third cycle with A+ grade, securing 3.53 CGPA. Autonomy was conferred on the college from the academic year 2019-20. We are ISO 9001-2015 certified and recipient of Best College Award by the University of Mumbai. In the year 2016-17, we are also DBT Star Scheme and RUSA 2.0 awardee. We are recipient of India's Education Excellence Award 2018, Berkshire Media LLC, USA. Education World India has ranked our college 43rd in India among the private autonomous colleges. Friends, today's orientation program is organized, and I am quite sure that Akshat Kadam and his expert team will guide us. They will give guidance, they will show you what opportunities are there, and I am quite sure that will be benefited, and soon we expect you to register for the course. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. It's a very enlightening talk. Even I was quite surprised to hear of some of the illustrious background of Patkar College's founding and its growth so far. So I'm really happy to be interacting with students of such a prestigious institute. And I'm always happy to interact with students in general. We do it a lot here, and I'm just glad I get to address a huge number today. So let's not, without any further ado, let's begin with my piece of the session. So I'm sure everybody here has gone through the flyer for this program. It was a small promotional flyer. You must have received it in your WhatsApp groups and wherever it was posted. And the timings may have said 3 to 5 p.m. But rest assured, I think we will be covered with the material of the session by 4, perhaps by 4:15 at the latest. So I think it will be a very short and brisk session. I do not want to bore everybody with details about graphics and the course. Perhaps we can save most of those for the actual bulk of the course whenever it begins. So let me just share with you my screen. I think I can just go with this. Perhaps we should share my audio. Yeah. Okay. So I trust my screen would be visible to most. Let me just turn this down to myself. Yeah. So I think we have a fairly crisp view of the small presentation that I have as a visual aid while I'm speaking about the course. And this session, I'll be talking for about 40-45 minutes, and we'll tackle Q&A in the end. For any students that have specific questions, I'm sure you will see something that you will have a question about. I strongly urge every student here to unmute themselves at the end and freely have a conversation. And if anybody has a pinpoint question in the middle of the talk, we will tackle them in 1 or 2 breaks in between. Okay. So let us take this. Yeah, I think we're ready to begin. Okay. So once again, welcome to the talk. A quick introduction about myself. So I graduated IIT Bombay back in 2016. So it hasn't been very long since I myself have been in the industry, but a lot of my background has been in research and development. A lot of what I do was in 3D computer graphics, a very niche field that interlinks many disciplines such as signal processing, image processing, computer, a little bit of computer science, and of course 3D animation and rendering. So it's a very technical field. It has to do with it connects well with how games are made, how 3D video is made, how CG is made. And although at Develearn here we specialize in data science AI, and that's the heart of our company, we also have a very strong offering for students of arts backgrounds, which is the specific course that we are offering here, and that I'm here to talk about. So although I do not have much of the fine arts experience, that would probably be best for speaking in this field, I do speak with some level of relation and a little bit of passion to how important graphic design and what I'm going to be showing you about UI and UX is, for today's industries. So here is a quick breakdown about what we'll be talking about today. So two clean halves of the talk. I am going to, before I actually tell you about this program, tell you about what we're going to teach you in this course, I think it's important to have a good grasp of what is the need, why are these skills so important, why are these technologies so vital today, and how they have emerged in the industry. So what is the actual job or industry scenario right now, that is where companies are asking for these skills. I'll show you some raw data, I'll show you statistics. So one thing is, apart from taking webinars like this from time to time, I also love attending webinars. And something that is often missed out is, a look at raw statistics. So I'll be showing you live evidence of, what is the need, the requirement of what we are bringing to you, what sort of career path you as a student can pursue. This is something that is very new, very exciting. It wasn't considered very until very recently. And then we will get into looking at what exactly you will learn and how this course will be structured. Okay. It's good that people are already interacting in the chat. All right. So let's get started. So the first part, let me give you a little bit of an industry scenario about how the design industry has evolved over the years. So of course, I will not give you like an inside look of what people are doing on the job, but just an overall trend. Okay. So this started, I would say, somewhere around 2018-19. It's almost now 3-4 years ago, and it was becoming very clear that graphic design is becoming a viable career option in India. Graphic designer, and all of the career paths that branch out, that stem out from it, and India seemed to not have any professional structure for getting qualified the designers out there. So this seemed to be a big requirement. Of course, design schools do deal with this, but design schools are very far and few throughout the country, and not enough, supply for what the market is needing. So this market has been growing very rapidly since 2019, and now it is already quite big. It's getting even bigger. So what you have here in front of you is a little bit of a, how should I put it? So what we often do is that, because we ourselves mentor students, we get them placed. We ourselves are looking out at what is the current, job requirements scenario market out there. So this is a screenshot of a popular job hiring portal. I'm sure some of you, maybe who have already started, looking at jobs a little bit, you might recognize this. This is Indeed, and this is a sample, job description for a job profile where they are looking for, a graphic designer, and you will see that the pay packages are quite good. Here they are not. If you read the description in detail, you will see that they're not looking for someone with a lot of experience. It is barely 2-3 years, 3 to 5, but that's a decent amount in intermediate level. But the pay package is fairly good, and it only keeps getting better from here. This is at the lower end of the spectrum. So I'll give you a few more examples of of what these numbers look like. Just a quick request for everybody to mute themselves. I'll just take the liberty of muting all. Okay. Right. Let's continue. Okay, moving forward. So this is like just an overview look. So where are these jobs located? And see, I'm diving right into jobs. Usually people get into this at the end, but I think it's important to look at the current scenario and why this is such an impactful field. So if you, of course, most of these jobs are focused into the metro cities, the Delhi NCR region. Mumbai, of course, has something, but there are a lot of upcoming cities where this kind of job is extremely popular. So you can see that the map of India towards over here at the right side, this is fairly recent. It's a recent statistic, and of course, Bangalore has the highest requirement. It is a very, very startup dense city with a lot of jobs focusing upon digital outreach and digital marketing, web development, and usually startups that are looking to expand digitally and need much more graphic design, very, very intensive in their need for graphic design. So you will see that this bubble is getting bigger and bigger in Mumbai, and the average pay package is also not bad at all. So this is the package for a beginner, a fresher who is starting off. Of course, they will, if you have the right skill set and all, but if you're a complete fresher even in skills, you probably cannot expect this. So this was a 2020 average, I think, and now this is just last year. So you can see that maybe the jump has definitely been greater than the inflation rate, and the demand is increasing slowly and gradually. So I think it's very important that you keep a close eye on this also if you're interested in this field, because the job market is extremely vibrant. It's growing more and more, and it's not just about full-time positions or part-time positions. Freelancing is a very, very viable aspect. In fact, a big chunk of this industry focuses on freelance talent, because companies are going to take a few more years to come to the point where they say that yes, we want an in-house full-time graphic design team, and that's when they hire full-time. But usually the requirement is sporadic. It is piece by piece. You want one thing done, two things done. So it's done on a contract basis. It's done on freelance basis. So many of the statistics are in the unstructured market, which you cannot probably see in detailed stats or survey collection through survey collection services. But you see that if the regulated market, the structured market is already this ripe, you can tell how the freelance market is even better. And freelancing is something that many of you can also juggle with your studies, with even a part-time job or a fresher position if your company allows it. So these skills are going to help you no matter wherever you go. And so let me get into what exactly is the kind of job perhaps you do, and so what are these skills that these companies are asking for. So again, like I said, I like to look at what people are asking live, and it is better with an anecdote than giving you some big graph statistics and this is the trend, it's going up and down. Rather than that, you look at real examples. When you will be job hunting, when you will be looking for clients, what will they be requiring of you? I think it's good to see that right here. You're going to get a very good picture. So so many of these, a lot of details over here. Don't read everything. I'll just point out to the parts that are important. Everything that they're asking for. Of course, most of it is flowery language. Do well in a team environment. You have good managing skills, presentation skills. But in the end, what is the software skill that they're looking for? So that is here. I've highlighted it in red. It's again, so After Effects is a little bit of an advanced concept, because the role here is about motion design. But you can see that over here also they require Photoshop, Illustrator, and similar tools in 2D graphic design. So again, I'll take you to another one. So this is for a proper core graphic design profile, and here again you will see that Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, etc. So these three tools, they keep repeating themselves everywhere, and that is something that you will see as a pattern wherever you go. I think this is the biggest takeaway you should take, that see, regardless of the company, if it's a small company, it's a startup, if it's a medium scale company, an Indian company or a foreign one, uh, whatever you do, they are going to ask you in the end, everything else aside, they're going to ask you, do you know Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign? That is the question. That is the core skill, because you'll be doing your work in that. So with this little bit of context behind us, I'll show you a few, just one more example. So look at this little profile here. Of course, they're looking for someone with a bit more experience, and the pay package is, it's pretty handsome for, you know, an initial, maybe say initial to intermediate position. We're looking at 0 to 3 years experience, and here, you know, you can see what they are. So this company has been very you know, clear and with their expectation what you will do day in day out. So they're looking at, you'll be making print, digital designs, and you'll be looking at everything that is needed for events, right? So day to day, you'll be making designs, creations, artworks for all of this if you're into this field. And again, what are the requirements of this? It's more of the same. So strong design skills in the licensed tools of Illustrator, InDesign. Of course, Illustrator means they're expecting Photoshop with that, and some open source tools as well. So such as they've named Canva over here. There are many more. I'll show you what are the popular ones over here. Of course, this session is currently being recorded. We'll be making the recording available for you post you know, this talk is over. So if anybody wants to revisit some of these points, you can feel free to go back to through the video and, you know, pick out the important pieces of information that you want. Okay. So here's one more, one last little this thing I'll show you, job description. And here again, they're looking at, you know, here they're being a little more broad. They're saying, look at Adobe Creative Cloud. So again, so Creative Cloud is the entire suite of Adobe tools, not just Illustrator and Photoshop, but XD, Lightroom, a lot of these things. And of course, this is for somebody with a lot of experience. But again, the requirement remains consistent throughout. Adobe is the software that has become the industry norm, the industry benchmark, yardstick, whatever you want to call it. And I think if any of you all want to take a step into graphic design, you'll say that I want to be more creative. I want to find a creative outlet to, you know, my ideas. I want to work for a company or have a sort of job where I am thinking about artistic things and realizing them for the company, you know, in its branding, etc. This is the field for you. And of course, like, what is it that you need to do to get into this? You need to know these skills, you know, technical skills. So this is with this little bit of background behind us about you know, the importance of how these three softwares are now center stage in the requirement of all of these companies across the board. You know, we're looking at consulting, those that specialize into graphic design, IT, whatever be the company itself sector, the company inside it has a graphic design team that needs this work. And of course, all of this graphic design work is motivated through the digitization of our economics, you know, that is happening. So I'll just summarize, you know, this piece over here. What are the skills that you need if you want to get into these kind of jobs? And all of these jobs, you know, now this is an aggregate statistic I can show you. About 80%, you know, 75 to 80% of all these jobs are flat out asking for these skills. Do you know these three softwares? Can you operate them? Our existing softwares or workflow are written in this. Can you do this? That's it. You know, if you're able to do that, at least you're in the door. You know, that will get you to at least go through the interview. Then they might test your skills. They might look at your portfolio and whatnot. So those parts come later. But again, I think basic knowledge of this is going to get you started if you want to explore this field at all. And also there are these other auxiliary 9 skills that you know, we kind of picked up from the survey, and all of them are, you know, it's wide and varied. But again, so the ones that I've highlighted in red, these are the ones that are vital for any sort of graphics portfolio, design job portfolio. So many of these are concepts that you will learn within these softwares. You know, to be able to operate the software, you need to learn fundamentals about how 2D computer graphics would work, 2D graphic design works, and of course, MS Office aside, what are the basic concepts such as color, shapes, etc. So maybe I'll get into this a little bit ahead. So this is a summary of these skills that you will need if you are if you're interested in, excited about getting into this field. So with this behind us, I think we can move on to I'll show you a little bit of a detour from this is what sort of a natural question that we get, that even I get when I talk about the importance of knowing these softwares and getting into graphic design, is that many times the student will ask us, sir, what is the career path that I can take? I get into a job as a 2D graphic designer. I am loving it. I enjoy the job, and it has a very good output for me. But how do I grow from there? What is the growth trajectory? I'm just going to take one more minute. I feel there are some new entrants. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. So what is my growth trajectory be? How will I progress from here, and what sort of job profile can I look for in the future? So I will not take too much time here. We're already well into the session. I think we're about half time there. So this is just a little bit of a summary view of what you can expect to look at. Let me just move my face around, and so this is the new wave that is coming even to India, of course, because it is inspired from a trend in the way products are designed today in the industry. So it is not just India. You look at everywhere, all over the world, the United States, Europe, wherever, everywhere that web products are designed, mostly because products are hosted on the internet, they're hosted on the cloud, right? And these web products have to have graphics, illustrations, animations, all of these designs that are into the product, and the product itself needs to be designed. And that's where this new field of user interaction and user experience, UI and UX, the X is for experience, that is where this comes in. And this is now an extremely booming field, and it is typically the career path, or you would say pivot of choice, for those who have already been working in graphic design for a few years. So if you're starting off as, say, you're really excited about this field, and you're looking at you've learned all these softwares and you got your first job, great. Now you're thinking about, what do I do from here? How do I keep learning, and how do I keep growing? So we have taken up this little bit of an animation from, you can see on the right side of your screen. If you're starting off as a junior designer, you put in a couple of years, you become a senior. Maybe you put in a few more years, you start handling people, and that's when you become a design manager. And once you get into that manager position, what happens is that your role not just becomes about designing a particular graphic or one particular element. It becomes more about overseeing what is your product going to look like, how is your user going to interact with the product. So this is an extremely this is a field that relies so heavily on ergonomics. So ergonomics basically means making products more intuitive, more easier for users to use and interact with. So if a chair is not very comfortable, I would say it's the ergonomic design of the chair is bad. If it does not give my lower back support, I'd say that's poor ergonomics. That perhaps applies. But the same way, if a website is poorly designed, if say from when you reach the home page, you're bombarded with chatbots and ads, and the menu is lost somewhere, and you can't even, if you want to contact the owner of the website, you can't even find a contact form. What is that? That is poor ergonomics, poor user design. I had a very bad user experience. So I think the point that I'm making here is that this field is growing because if a company is designing something that is visual, that the user is seeing, their customers seeing, they have to make it more and more easier for the customer to interact with it. And the customer should easily, they want to minimize the number of steps that a customer takes from hearing the company's name to going to their website to contacting them, and boom, you're that much closer to making a sale. So this user experience and the user interaction that goes with it, this is now an extremely booming field, and of course, graphic designers are very, very good candidates for UI UX engineers and designers. So if you understand how to create these elements, you are in a very good foundational position to also dictate how the product is designed, at a macro level, at a large scale. So what is so I know certain people who started off as graphic designers, and now they are, designing products for which they would design logos, and their earlier position. So this is, and of course, with this increase in responsibility, with this increase in impact on the product, your pay package also goes up accordingly. You will see that there is a huge jump in salary. The initial few under, in the range of 5 lakh per LPA I was showing you, that is now 12 to 15. And of course, these jobs typically go not to those who are just starting off, 0 to 1, but they go to those with a few years of experience. But again, it goes to those who knows these tool sets that are written here in the bottom of the page. And let me see if I can just highlight some of the important ones. Yeah. So the 4 that are highlighted here right now, they are the ones that are extremely popular in India. And of course, the percentages written are, the percentage of what is the proportion of companies that are asking for it. So if you know Photoshop, Illustrator, again, you have your foundation in it. You have your starting point. You are by default at least applicable to apply for these jobs. So I think you should take this in stride. If there is anything you picked up so far in the talk, it's what is the importance, where companies are shifting, what are they asking for, and if I want to go higher and higher up this ladder in this field, what is it that I should be looking at, and what sort of tool sets, skill sets I should be eyeing. One thing I'd like to tell you is that many of these tools are completely open source. So Figma is pretty much open source. You have XD, which is now quite free to use, and Framer, of course, is open source. There are many of them here as well. You can start building things without paying even a single rupee for all of these sophisticated softwares and ecosystems that have come up that are supporting these companies. All right. So with this knowledge behind us, I gave you I pretty much hyped up what UI and UX is all about, and let me show you what this means. So this is I'll show you an example of something that we call a design portfolio. If you're really serious about pursuing a career here, and you say you've gone through our course or you've gone through any course, and you've learned your softwares and you're ready to start working, and you want to showcase yourself that hey, I can do all this stuff, what is it that you would do? You would typically create what we call a portfolio, a design portfolio. And a design portfolio is not limited to a person, an individual person. I'm sure you will find many of those online, but they also exist for firms, design firms that sell these services as a group. And I want to show you an example of a very well-made design portfolio. This is pretty old. You can see this is of 2018. So, but still, I want you to take a look at what this design company offers as a service to anybody, to any company that wants to make a product. Whether you want to make an app, whether you want to make a website, whether you want to make an entire web platform, whatever it is, the start of it is from UI and UX specialty in that, and that is based again in graphic design. So I'll just play this. I think the audio is mostly music, so we'll tune it down a bit. And I think you can just go through this. Let me just look at what is all is being made. So you can see that many of these little pieces of elements, a lot of these interactions, So a lot of what you saw, I'm sure you might have seen elements like this here and there, and these are all made in using various tool sets, open source, licensed, whatever it is. And of course, like this is sort of a pitch for little for a graphics firm, but this is everything that you would typically be involved in making, in conceptualizing. You would be coming up with this layout. Why is this layout good? What should go where in terms of information? Me as a UI and UX designer or an engineer, UI UX engineer, that is also definitely a word that they say. And if I'm part of this team that is designing this product, I have to prioritize the information that is going to my customer, to my client. And how do I design it? How do I make it easy to look at? The soft edges, the shadow effects that give the card a little bit of depth, that you're looking at an actual depression into the page. The smooth lines, even the visualization of overlapping colors, and little bit of variety that's showing. So all of these stimulate the brain of the customer. It stimulates the human brain. So a lot of this, the principles that go behind deciding what is made here, it comes from behavioral psychology. It comes upon from a place where we think about what is it about design that actually stimulates a customer mindset. So this is what we're talking about here, that we are not just from graphic design, from simply making a shape or a color or something, making a very fancy picture. You're now going to decide what it is that impacts your customer the most. So it is quite a shift in thinking and the mindset. And it actually, the best UI UX designers come from are those that started off as graphic designers themselves, because you have been thinking about what is visually appealing, what is aesthetically appealing for a very, very long time. So if you're interested in this, I think this is something that you can absolutely aspire to do, to actually, even though you don't have, say, the engineering background to build these products or anything, but to dictate what is the user going to experience finally. You forget the back end, the front end, the part that where you touch the user, that is what you will get to build upon and actually impact. So okay, let me move on from this. I have one more short video for you to show you. This is basically a homegrown Indian firm, so they so India is following this formula that the West has started very, very closely. And India also is coming up pretty much on top. Of course, lot of India's innovation is localized for India, so you will see here lot of desi versions of these designs, and even the design style is somewhat different. But perhaps you can go through this for a bit. So let's just take a minute to go through this. It's again 2 minutes only, so we'll just take a look. Okay, I think this is a good place to stop. Basically, what I wanted to show you is that Indian firms also, Indian industry is also fast adopting all of these, industrial changes. And of course, it started off, in Western countries a few years before us, but here now it's maturing pretty rapidly. And today, you guys, you all are students. Today we are already in 2022, and this profile was made in 2020. I'm sure they have a 2021 version. basically, if today you're going to be graduating in another couple of years, and you're getting into graphic design, if you by the time, say another 4 years, 3 to 4 years from now, this field will have matured so much that you will see that the weightage of job listings out there, the weightage of the number of design firms that have come up, the number of active, say, demand in the industry for all of this, it will be much higher. And you can be sure that the time that you're investing now into this course will reap multiple times, many fold of the benefit. So of course you can go through this video in piece whenever you want, and you can look up these firms later on in the future. So we are approaching time, so let me actually transition into what it is that we will be teaching you through this course. So realize that this is a somewhat intensive, it's actually an intensive training program into, we'll be teaching you 4 softwares. I mostly have been exclusively talking about 3 because these 3 softwares have global importance. They are known everywhere. And of course there is also Corel Draw, which you might have heard, that is relevant in India very much. So we'll also touch upon that a little bit. And but I want to place importance into these 3, which will probably be the center point of your career path if you'll be pursuing this in the future. So we'll take a second, and I'll just I'm sure you observe different kinds of information, and I'm sure you've heard about these 3, but what exactly is the difference between them? So we'll just take a second and walk through this. And Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, they all sound very similar. They all seem like they'll do the same thing. And Lightroom, XD, what is this? What is the difference? Why is it all so different? So if you want to take away the difference I think you should be able to describe the difference in one line. And this image is very, very good at doing that. So we'll start with Illustrator, the middle one. What it is basically a vector graphics editor. And it's going to enable you to create things from zero, from nothing. So a vector graphic is a graphic that does not depend on the pixels. It's not exactly an image, but it's a vector file. So it scales as you want. It scales up or down as you want without breaking. You can transfer it if it's a well-made vector. You can transfer it from a computer to any mobile device, across devices, as long as the support is there. And you can make all of the things that are written over here, of course. So, and Photoshop is a little bit different from Illustrator. Why? Because you're not going to be having an open canvas and you're going to be drawing things from scratch like you would do in Illustrator. Illustrator, you could create a logo that you can actually run your hand through, draw a curve yourself, and create a logo, a fresh thing from nothing. Photoshop, you'll mostly be working with something that's already there, an image, an artwork that's already there, and you'll be making changes to it. So it's basically a raster image editor. Of course, as the name says, it works best with images, with photos. And I think you can do much more exciting things with Photoshop, like at least things that look very exciting. But of course, Illustrator, I would argue, is the more powerful tool among these. And InDesign is not to throw it under the rug. InDesign is also extremely important and powerful. It's going to help you with everything related to print media. So anything that talks about a document, anything that will tangibly exist, printed out, InDesign is going to be your go-to thing to make that. So I'll just walk you through one slide about what is exactly, what are some of the things that we'll be covering over here. Okay, so before we go through that, let me just just mute everyone. Okay. All right, let's move on. So here we're talking about Illustrator. So I'll just very, very short, I'll keep it very visual, no boring text. What we'll be doing, if we'll be actually be teaching you. So many of these sessions are going to be offline. We may have some online. Some of these may be offline sessions, but that is not going to matter much, because we're going to be starting small. You're going to be able to adjust colors, shapes. I think it's very important for, as a first course that will get you into graphics. You understand the basics about how color, concepts, and shapes are perceived by computers. Because again, you'll be working on computers, and it's not exactly going to be an arts and crafts class like in school where you draw very intuitively. But you're going to have to understand some core concepts about how shapes are perceived by the software, how you can interact with the software, and how you can work correctly through it. So you start small, you start with the concepts, and it will take you to the level where you're using complex layers, you're overlapping items, you're creating something that fits a poster that is worthwhile for being in an ad campaign. That you can, of course, we'll be practicing with various things. You'll create V cards, posters, artworks, etc. So that's the approach we'll be taking. Start conceptually, and also utilize things that I myself learned in 3D graphics, such as concepts like perspective. When you look at something through a camera, what are the concepts that you need to be aware of? The perspective of your camera, whether you're looking at it orthogonally, diagonally, whether looking at it from a 1-point perspective or a 2-point perspective, or even more. There are even 3-point perspectives. The look is very different. It gives a very artistic change to it. And what will often happen is that if you're not even working in a company, you're working in freelance, your client might be, specific or read enough that he might ask you to make something in particular perspective. So knowing the jargon is also important. So we'll be going through this. The foundation will be Illustrator. Finally, we'll do some exciting things in Photoshop, and of course, it's all about, like I said, image editing, right? So we'll start with, say, some benign static things like, say, foreground and background replacement, natural editing. Say if I have, you can see at the top part of this little looping animation over here, where the person and his ground area, the beach area, is being constant and the sky is being changed, and you have to give the correct effects so that the sky does not seem unnatural on this. So you start at that level. You take it to more dynamic effects, such as you have a standing static image of this person who is just running, and his picture is taken. How you would add, say, a flaming animation to it, how you can add layer animations on top of each other, and how that could look like. Of course, that will power so many things that you could make, not just professionally but also personally in your personal projects. I know so many, all maximum YouTube creators have to go through all of these skills, if they're going to be creating content that is engaging and that is going to attract people to watch their videos. So without getting much into YouTube, I'll also talk about what InDesign is doing. And here, InDesign, again, it's going to be very functional. We're going to walk you through when you open, if you have gone through Illustrator and Photoshop, opening InDesign is not going to feel very different. Many of the things are the same, you will see that, but some things are different. You'll walk through that. You'll understand why, Illustrator is a very open thing to do anything you want, but InDesign is very, very specially structured and designed that you can make something that has real physical dimensions, that is measured in inches, measured in centimeters. And that's where you can try to make your own templates, covers. You can see this little brochure that is made over here. You can make something like this and prototype it. You can show your potential customer. You can showcase it on your open portfolio, that hey, this is my design. If you give this to a printer, like the original file, he can probably print a magazine out of this, a publisher. So that's the level we want to take you to. And of course, you're not going to be very refined, but we're going to get you to that level where at least the foundation is set, so you can start practicing on your own. And finally, a note on CorelDRAW. So CorelDRAW is very special. It's very, very, very specific. It's still very strong in India, and it puts together most of what Illustrator, Photoshop, and InDesign also do to a lot of many extents. It doesn't perfectly outperform all of them, but somehow it has a little bit of everything, and depending on where you'll be working, what you'll be doing, whether if you're doing freelance, depending on your company's printing system, Illustrator may not be the best fit in India. That may be CorelDRAW may be the file that may be needed. So it's important that you also have a functional knowledge of CorelDRAW as well. Of course, once you've gone through the main ringer of Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, and all, coming to CorelDRAW you're going to feel like the concepts are all the same. I'm just learning a new software and a new UI. So we're going to be covering this towards the end, and it's going to be like very, very good revision, because you'll be going through many things. You'll be going through everything in depth in the first 75%, and finally in the last it's going to be a cool down. You're going to go through all the same concepts again that CorelDRAW can do, and pick up a new software along the way. So that way I think it's going to be very functional. So that's it for what it is that we'll be covering. I think I'll just we're close to the end. I'll just take 1-2 more slides where I'll explain what is the broad structure of this course. Again, like I said, it's not a clean 25 4-way split. We're going to put more focus on Illustrator. It is going to be the foundation for everything you learn, right from the little bit of the the toolbar, or the concepts of layering and overlaying things on top of each other, or how colors interact. These same concepts will be transferred to the forthcoming softwares. So once you cover everything properly in Illustrator, I think the rest of the course is going to be very, very smooth sailing. Of course, you might learn a few new things in Photoshop. So I think this is where I'm just going to wrap my talk up. I think everybody should be, if any part of this excites you, this is an excellent opportunity to learn these softwares through a live lecture format. It's a foundational course. You will benefit if you know nothing, absolutely nothing. You have never even heard about these. We will be covering it from scratch. So there is nothing to feel hesitant about that, sir, will I qualify for this course or not? And of course, the lectures will be online. We're going to try for some offline sessions depending on the scheduling. And it's going to be digestible. And of course, it's going to be hands-on. So the focus is going to be that I'm just going to be sitting, like this talk where I am doing all the talking and I'm showing you things and you're just going to listen. But we'll also be having you practice on the spot. We'll be giving you the license or the software support that you will require to learn this, whether you have your own laptops or not, or whether you'll be utilizing college equipment for going through the course. I think every session will be a mix of looking at what your sir or ma'am is teaching you and doing it on the spot. So every lecture you will walk out with a sense that I learned something new today. I accomplished something. This thing I made, I can actually put it on my portfolio. Hey, wow, I can showcase it on my LinkedIn. I can showcase it on Behance. And I can already start looking at some freelance opportunities after a point of time. And finally, I think this will be very, very attractive, is that this course is almost completely sponsored by the college, and of course in association with RUSA. It's through the RUSA program that Patkar-Varde College is working with us to bring you this course. So this course is effectively almost free of charge. We're going to be deciding if there is a registration fee or somewhat of a like a deposit fee, small deposit fee that you will be giving. But even if there is, it's going to be refundable to you, with just that you can ensure with just attendance or perhaps a few more criteria. So effectively, it is this is an absolutely golden opportunity to learn all these softwares, to open up a career path for you. Even if you don't want to get into this core path, these skills are going to help you wherever you go, even in your personal life. So I strongly urge all interested students to look at this very seriously. And this is the process. So what next? If you are interested, you want to ask me what to do, we have this registration form open. If you can look at the chat box in this Zoom meeting, the same form ka link is pasted. So do fill up this. Of course, this registration is right now only open to those who have registered for the webinar, but we'll be opening it to almost everyone. But the seats are limited. We can't keep filling indefinitely. So if you're interested, hurry up and register. So we are going to keep it open right now. There is no strict deadline. I think tentatively in another 2 to 3 days we'll be closing the registrations. And the course duration again is 3 months. We'll be teaching you for 60+ hours. So it's going to be very intensive. And it's not going to be very heavy. It's going to mostly be after your college. We're going to figure out a flexible time for all the students. So if you're interested, of course, fill up the form and we will be in touch with you. And the hotline, of course, there is one line. If you want to know more about the course, you can always inquire. This number is on WhatsApp. Just ask, I'm interested in knowing more, and you'll of course somebody will get in touch with you. Okay, so that's it for the talk. Thank you very much for patiently listening. And I see that the number has remained more or less stable throughout the entire talk. I was very happy to see that not many people have, gotten bored. Many people have been listening. Of course, I can't tell if you've been sleeping, but I'm glad that we've gotten a good retention. Okay, we can take questions right now. So we're just on time. We can tackle a few questions. So Yash, can you just unmute? You can see if there are any questions in the chat.
I think there are no questions or queries in the chat.
Okay.
Akshat, Bhushan here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you explain a bit about the assessment pattern and how we will be assessing the students after, we come to the end of the course?
Of course. Yes. So for those who would like to know about that, of course, the assessments will be throughout. So we will not focus on MCQ questions or something like that. There may be a very small MCQ test. It will not have a lot of weightage. Most of your assessment will be based on your practical understanding. So we will assess you based on the completion of your assignments and your participation in the course. So of course, naturally, if you attend the course very properly throughout and you complete your assignments and all, your learning, your upskilling is going to come with it naturally. So we will assess you based on the quality of your assignments, the timing and diligence of your submissions. And most of it is going to be internal. We'll have a small external test that will have a little bit of formal weightage. Yes. So the exact numbers, of course, will be released to everybody at the start of the course. Exactly what you need to be focusing on. Yes. Bhushan sir, does that cover?
Do they need to give any presentations or anything of that sort?
I think we don't focus too much on presentations because many of the results will be available for offline viewing anyways throughout the course. If a student really finishes every assignment that he has done through the course, I think he will have a very healthy 15, 16 bits of creations, solid creations that, a portfolio of 15 creations is pretty strong on Behance already. So right off the end of the course, you come up with a good design portfolio that will make you fit for, already ready to start applying for freelance positions or even any full-time or part-time positions. So sir, we don't typically prioritize presentations, but we can factor that in. So a presentation of one of your best creations, say, towards the end of the course. Yes, so Deepthi has a very good question. Submission of a portfolio. So yes, Deepthi, actually at the end of the course, once you're done with CorelDRAW and everything, we will walk you through, help you through how to create your own Behance portfolios and upload your assignments or at least your best work on these portfolios. So what will happen is the outcome will be that you're not going to be submitting a portfolio to us that will sit in our archives, for good. It will be live. It is yours. You will be getting to utilize it, and of course we'll be keeping a copy of that for the record. So yeah, does that answer your question, Deepthi? If not, you can just follow up. You can ask more specific question. I'm happy to answer. Okay. Arjun has a question. Does this course include packaging design? Yes, to some extent we'll be talking about, I think that will be covered a bit in the InDesign piece, but perhaps we won't be getting too much into it because we only have between 60 to 90 hours. So I think we'll be focusing more on the more vital concepts through Illustrator. So yes, but I think there is perhaps we do, the sessions are structured such that the final week is kept for revision. Typically we revise through the course, and there is one slot that is kept as buffer. So if you do like to want to learn something specific into that, we do factor in what the students want to learn. So say your request on packaging design, if you have something more specific that you'd like to ask in that, you can always put it in, inform your instructor, and we can cover that in that one buffer session. So I think there is a good flexibility to learn what you specifically want. Yes. So Deepthi has a question about placement opportunities provided. Yes. So whatever, all the companies that are in Develearn's network will be your profiles. If your Behance profiles are ready, to the students that diligently finish their assignments and their profiles are fit for sharing, we will be sharing it to our network, and all open job opportunities, of course, will be funneled to you. So yes, we will be giving you that support. Of course, but that support will be over a period of time post the course is finished. So I don't want it to be that you've finished learning the course in 3 months and you submitted everything and done, bye bye. So you have to stay in touch with us for a period of 3 to 6 months. Every job opportunity that comes to us, we funnel it through to you as a group. So there will be a mailing list of everybody who has finished the course properly. So yeah, there is all that. Okay. Yes, I think that is, the questions are pretty much, yeah, we've covered everything. Is there anything that Bhushan sir you would like to bring up? Okay, I see we have one student raising their hand. If that was a mistake, it's fine, but if not, you can unmute yourself and ask a question. Feel free.
Akshat, are we giving any credits for this course in our certificate?
So yes, of course. I mean, if Patkar College is open to giving assigning additional credits to this course, within the non-core portion of your degree, yes, that is absolutely open. In fact, we have many of our courses are credit eligible in other colleges, so yes, we can do that if the college, of course, passes it through. Okay. I think we're healthy just over 4 p.m. and the schedule has been followed just to the T. Okay. If everything is on point, perhaps we can close at this point. Bhushan sir, is there anything else you'd like to bring?
No, thanks a lot, Akshat, for your brief briefing about the course and the orientation. I hope it will be a beneficial to all our students. Principal sir is bit busy because it is his last. The party.
All right. Yes. Not a problem at all. So of course we're happy to have Principal Sir address us in the start, and thanks everyone for listening patiently. And of course you're free to leave from now. If you know your friends that are interested in this, this recording will be available on YouTube. Of course, we have all of your emails. You will be getting an email with the registration link. If you want, if you're interested in it, at least put in your entry. And of course, if you want to check any part of this talk later on, so the recording will be put up as an unlisted YouTube video. So go ahead and so you'll get that as well in your inbox.
Sorry, there was some network issue.
Yes, sir.
So thank you, Akshat. You must be having the email IDs of the students, those who have registered for the webinar, right?
Yes.
So we can post the registration link to them through the email.
Yes, absolutely. And a recording of this session will also be shared for offline viewing.
Okay, and we'll ask our principal sir to open up the pass on the registration link to the head of the department, so they can pass it on to their respective students and ask them to register for the course. Since there are limited seats, we have to finalize the criteria for
getting
those students if there is an overflow of the students.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Akshat. Thank you, Principal Sir. Thank you, all the participants. So we'll close the session.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone. All right. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you. Have a nice day. Bye.